5 p.m. on 8 January 2024. Carolina, could you do the roll call, please?
Commissioner Sean Adams, Sheila Baker, Mia Nguyen, here. Lisa Wright.
Here.
You don't have a quorum, so we can still hold a meeting with no vote.
All right. So next thing on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. Okay, so we'll start with special presentations here. Andrea is going to give a presentation to the commission to receive. We will get a report on the 2024 department accomplishments. That's a period.
Thank you. So I've given the commission many updates along the way, but recently our city manager asked each director to provide a list of accomplishments for the calendar year 2024. And so in that process, I actually have provided that list to you. It's not at the presentation you're going to see is based on this list. But everyone kind of takes information in differently. So I thought some of you might want the list and some of you might appreciate the presentation. I have to say, when I worked on this list of accomplishments, I was so proud of our department. I mean, to me, this is a remarkable amount of work for not only a small department, but a department that has been in transition for the last several years. And we are really, for the first time in a long time, fully staffed and functional and ready to move. And so I just was so proud of my team in doing this list for the city manager, that I decided we'd give you one more update. Some of this you've seen before because I've been giving you periodic updates, but I just thought it would be fun to go through. I've asked Dre to do the bulk of the presentation because a lot of it is about the recreation programming that she now oversees. And then towards the end of the presentation, I'll give updates on projects and budget and that kind of thing. Okay, thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me here, commissioners, and thank you for being here. Okay, I'm going to just go over the different programs that we have in our department, and then again, Andrea will take over. So regarding the senior programming, during 2024, we added the bingo and ukulele classes. We hosted the holiday lunch and had over 30 participants, and we hosted a pickleball 2-year anniversary with over 25 participants. And then just so everyone's aware, we have over 160 senior members in our software system that have registered for the senior programming, and that will continue to grow. For sports, we've offered many weeks of sports camps, I think 7 weeks total, and including in those sports camps, we had basketball and skateboard camp. And you see this picture on the right is the skateboard camp, and then on the left is the basketball camp. Ron also offered sports leagues such as futsal, indoor floor hockey, and youth and junior high basketball. More sports programming. Ron hosted the annual Kick Pass Punt, which is offered the first time post-COVID. And the t-shirts and trophies were sponsored by the Elks Lodge, and that picture is the bottom left. And Ron hosted the Marina Hoop Shoot Free Throw Contest. And 4 of the Marina youth advanced to the district championship to be held on January 18th in Palo Alto, California. We also partnered with Marina Police Activities League to offer the Marina Track Club. For the Teen Center and teen programming, TC provides the Breakfast Club, which is Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And they have over 30 teens attending that daily. He added a free meal on Wednesdays, and that's sponsored by the Marina Foundation and Kaiser Permanente. And his programming is mainly made up of the after-school program Monday through Friday from 2 to 6 p.m. And he has over 60 teens that attend that daily. For more teen programming, he's hosted his first holiday movie bash. He had a very good turnout of 35 plus teens. And that picture on the top right is them about to watch, they were going to watch the movie Elf, which was a hit. And they had a hot chocolate and a lot of different fun snacks and treats. And he gave gifts, which that was really cool. So he also added throughout 2024 the esports gaming station, which you see at the bottom picture. That's kind of a blurry picture, so I apologize for that, but it looks so much better in person. So if you ever want to take a tour of the Teen Center, I'd love to show you because he really has inspired the teens there and cleaned it up, and it looks really great. And that gaming system is pretty cool with 4 TVs, 4 consoles, 2 PlayStations, an Xbox, and a Switch. And there's over 140 teen members for the Teen Center. And between August 7th, when they start back their school year, to the December 20th break date, 16,207 teens have checked in. And so it's going to continue growing as well. For the youth center across the way here, Tila hosts the after-school program Monday through Friday, 2:30 to 6 p.m. And she has over 90 youth that attend that daily. And it serves MPUSD schools in Marina, Olson, JC Crumpton, and Marina Vista. They provide a daily snack that's actually sponsored by MPUSD. And over 2024 summer, our department was the vendor for MPUSD Expanded Learning Opportunities Program. So our youth center staff went to Olson Elementary School and they offered the recreation activities during their after-school program. And more youth programs throughout 2024. Some of the activities and events that happened were the Kids Night Out, where over 60 plus youth attended. And I was the Grinch, and that was a very exciting evening, lots of energy. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Monterey County gifted 5 families $500 gift card. It was very, very special. And that 2 of them actually went to the youth center families, and then one went to the youth center family, 1 went to a teen center family, and then 3 of them went to Marina High School families through our department. The Marina Police Department hosted a holiday gift giving, and over 40 children received gifts. And you can't really see them, but officers are in the picture on the right for that. And then also during the holiday season, the youth earned good behavior tickets that allowed them to choose gifts for their parent or guardian. And so that was something new that Tila brought to the table. And over 100 youth members are part of the youth center every single day year round. Some of the special events over 2024 are the AIDS Life Cycle Rest Stop at Windy Hill Park, the Multicultural Festival, which actually brought in over 1,000 participants, the Halloween event. There was the Halloween event at the youth center down here and also up at the teen center, and that brought in over 800 total participants. And the first Halloween event brought over 100 humans and 50 dogs. So the picture on the left is the Multicultural Festival, and the picture on the right is the Halloween dog event. More events, Thanksgiving community meal. We served 575 meals. So it was about 380 in person, and then the rest of that was to-go meals. But 575 total meals were served. For the Hilltop ribbon cutting, we had over 80 humans and 30 dogs. And that was very exciting. It was my first ribbon cutting event, so I learned a lot. And we had excellent little doggy treats. I should have put a picture of the doggy treats. Carolina came up with those, and they worked out really well. We had our annual holiday tree lighting with horse carriage rides, and over 400 participants showed up for that. And we also hosted the annual Winterfest and holiday meal. We had over 600 participants show up to that. The bottom left picture is of the Winterfest, just the dining area. And then the right is from Thanksgiving, Mayor Bruce and Kona Jerry. And I'm going to go ahead and let Andrea finish off the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dre. So again, as you know, we, over the past year, I would say, have been reclassifying positions within the recreation department. And so initially we reclassified the 3 full-time recreation leaders to recreation specialists. which gave them a little bit more responsibility and a little bit higher salary. And then with the part-timers, we only had one part-time position description and wage, which was minimum wage. So you could have someone that has been here 6 months and they're just learning the ropes and they're really kind of probably just observing, making sure, no one, runs into the parking lot, versus someone who's been a part-timer for 8 years and they're assisting with developing programs and activities and doing training and whatnot. But all of them were in one classification, making minimum wage. So very early on, we reclassified our part-time positions and created 3 different positions with 3 different salary ranges, so that the salary range matches the level of responsibility. This has been fantastic because it helps us with recruitment and retention. And for the first time, we're able to give people step increases. So in the past, the only time a part-timer got an increase is if minimum wage increased. Now, for a while, that was huge, right? Because in California, we went from $8 to $9 to $10 to $11 that fast. But that has now slowed down. And so our part-timers were just stuck at minimum wage. Now, every year, if they get a positive performance eval, they get the next step within their range. And so we have a lot more flexibility with that. And I think it's already helped, but I think it's going to continue to really serve us very, very well. And then, as you know, we added a brand new position, which is the recreation manager position. Dre's only been here, I think, 8 weeks. November 16th, already making a huge impact, great impact. And again, that's just going to continue as she learns more about the programs and the city and whatnot. And I'm doing my best not to drag her into everything, but it's really hard. We also recently added a new full-time recreation specialist specifically for special events. So that position had been part-time. Council was great in supporting making that a full-time position. It will still, that position will still be responsible for many of our community-wide events. They also will be assisting with recreation programming at the equestrian center. Not necessarily anything to do with the horses, that is Chaparral's responsibility. More like, Thursday night yoga and Friday night trivia and, Tuesday cornhole, just traditional recreational programs that may or may not have anything to do with horses, but our goal is to drive more people to that property. Because once we get people out there, we think that's going to then, help with the rest of the business model for that concessionaire. Amanda Becker, who many of you have probably met, she was in that position as the part-time. She was the successful candidate and is now in the full-time position, but I think she literally started Monday. So we're still getting that going. And then we've also added a new part-time recreation specialist position that will focus strictly on marketing. Right now, what happens is Carolina does flyers for mostly activities and those kinds of things. And Amanda's doing flyers for special events, and then Dre might do a flyer for something else. And it just kind of takes away from their core responsibilities. And so the goal is consolidate all marketing under one person who has a really strong skill set in marketing. And hopefully that will just elevate everyone's, ability to do their core work. So I'm very excited about the team that I am very grateful to council for approving all of these new positions. I feel very fortunate. And I think, you see all these accomplishments for 2024. I can't wait to see what this list looks like for 2025. Projects completed. So we launched Civic Rec, online registration and payment software. Again, that's been a game changer for our department. Not only has it helped us to increase our revenue, because you absolutely have to register and pay before you attend. But I think it's also helped Carolina. She doesn't get nearly as many interruptions from the front counter. Not that she's not interrupted a lot, she is. But the volume of interruptions from the front counter of people wanting to register their kid for basketball or volleyball or whatever it is has drastically reduced. We designed and installed new park rules throughout all the city parks. Vince DiMaggio Park building renovation, stained all the interior and exterior doors, put in new flooring, new lighting. We have a new fireplace that's beautiful, and you just push a button and it comes on. And we did a full remodel of the kitchen. Absolutely gorgeous. Teen Center, that's supposed to say basketball court project. We slurry sealed and painted the courts, replaced the backboards and rims, and added backboard frame safety padding. What's really cool about this project is instead of just going with the black slurry seal and the white lines, we tried to jazz it up, and we went with Marina colors from our logo, and you'll see out there blues and yellows and tans, and it just really, that pop of color makes all the difference. It's a really nice court. Also already completed equestrian center building remodel. We added ADA parking and pathways, an ADA bathroom, and we remodeled the kitchenette and multi-purpose room. Again, just absolutely beautiful. We also repainted the entire inside. And we're about to start renting that facility for private reservations and rentals. So that was a really fun project. And then the Rocky Horn Community Center refresh was not a CIP project. It was an Andrea saying, "Hey guys, who wants to have a paint party? I'll buy some pizza." And I'm looking at Carolina because she was there. Dre was there. Our part-time staff were there. And it's not perfect. I mean, we're not professional painters, but what a difference that made to that one room. I mean, it brightened it up. It cleaned it up. We decluttered. We were able to add a part-time staff workstation, which they never had before. So that was an in-house project, and I thought it turned out pretty well. In addition to cleaning, floor to ceiling, and painting and organizing, we also added backpack hooks, which seems like a simple no-brainer, but for 30 years, we didn't have backpack hooks. The kids would come in and throw their backpack on the floor or on the church pew that was sitting there or wherever. And now if you go in there, there's brightly colored backpack racks, and everyone has a spot for their things, and they're color coded. So the kindergartners know they go to the red rack, and the first graders know they got the blue rack. And it's just worked out really, really well. So we're happy about that. Oh, yep. We did a Lego wall, which is really fun. Also, instead of laying on the floor or on a table, we got the kids standing up and moving and interacting. It takes up far less space, and it keeps the kids, moving. So that's good. All right, in progress, Windy Hill Playground. Very excited. I don't have an exact date, but we think mid-March is when it'll be delivered and installed. It'll take about a month to do the installation. And so we're anticipating a ribbon cutting for that playground. We're right now targeting April 19th. I'm not sure if that will be the exact date, but that's what we're targeting. Preston Park Ball Field Upgrade Phase 1. Phase 1 is strictly irrigation, infield dirt, outfield grass, because our goal is to get those fields safe and operable before the season starts. And I'll be really honest, we're running out of time. I actually have an on-site meeting tomorrow morning with the contractor to see if we are going to be able to get this done before March. So I'll keep you posted, but we are working hard to get that done. Phase 2 would then be replacing all the fencing around the field, increasing the height of the backstop fence, adding padding to the backstop and any poles that are an issue, and that will complete that project. Gloria Jean Tate, construction docks I have out to bid, but we actually opened the bids today, and so we will be bringing those to council, I believe, on the 22nd. And if approved, we will be breaking ground on Gloria Jean Tate and planning our first groundbreaking party because we're very excited. Sea Haven Park, construction docks are out to bid right now. Dune City Park, we're in 30% design, and Aquatics and Sports Center, we're at 60% design. So those are all the projects we're currently working on. And then I just wanted to talk a little bit about fiscal sustainability. This is an area of passion of mine. I feel like the recreation department can really support the city financially in a lot of ways and not be as much of a burden to the general fund. And so I appreciate the support of the general fund. But at the same time, I'm trying to bring in as much revenue as we can in order to offset the load on the general fund because there are so many needs across the entire city. So we're doing our best with that. So you can see we were awarded a $30,000 grant for the National Fitness Campaign, an $800,000 grant from the State Coastal Conservancy. We've entered into an agreement with MPUSD that will be around $80,000 to offer after-school programs. They've already reached out to me and want to start talking about the upcoming summer and already next year's academic year. So that's good news that it seems like they're going to let us continue to be a vendor for that. And that's just going to bring more and more revenue to the city. And then to put it in perspective, these are not fiscal year numbers. These are calendar year numbers. But calendar year 22 revenue for our department was $63,000. Calendar year 23, there was a 66% increase year over year, and we brought in about $105,000. And then ending December 31st, 2024, this is an estimate because not all revenue has been booked yet, but it's going to be around $175,000. So significant revenue increase. And that is really a result of, and by the way, those grants are not in that revenue. The revenue piece is really just paying for activities and memberships and that kind of thing. And so we have increased fees, but not significantly. It's really based on software and the fact that people just can't show up without paying anymore, which they could do in the past. There also were a lot of fees waived in the past. We now have a scholarship program, so we don't need to waive the fee. We can offer a scholarship, and that way the department and the general fund are not taking a hit for, a family that can't pay but needs the service. And so combination of a bunch of different things, but I am so excited and proud to see that change in just, the last 18 months. And then what's on the horizon? So we talked about some groundbreaking ceremonies that we anticipate we'll probably have 2 in March, Glory Jean Tate and Sea Haven Park. We will be breaking ground on both of those projects. Windy Hill, we're hoping to do our ribbon cutting in April. Windy Hill, we want to really have a fun. This is the first playground I've ever been part of, and I'm super excited about it. And so we're going to make it a kind of a big deal. Food trucks and DJs and face painting, all kinds of fun things to really make it a kind of a springtime party and more than just a ribbon cutting. And so we're excited about that. And then these are just kind of more visions of how we might expand. This is nothing concrete. These are just things that we're talking about within the department. But with the new full-time recreation specialists, we fully anticipate increased classes and events at the equestrian center. Like I said, it might be yoga, trivia, paint and sip parties, whatever it is. That will absolutely happen. And then we will also continue to partner with Chaparral for their more kind of traditional horse programming and special events that we've always supported. But with having someone physically there and dedicated to it, we're going to be able to give them a lot more support. Dre is very excited about offering senior classes and trips again. Back in the day, we used to take the seniors holiday shopping or to the movies or to the aquarium. That hasn't happened since COVID. And so Dre's anticipating bringing that back, which is really exciting. Same thing with the teen center. They used to do a lot of field trips. They would go to amusement parks. They would go to professional ball games, all kinds of things. And again, just circumstances over the last 4 years that has fallen off, but we're ready to bring all that back and we're excited about that. And then again, working with Dre, we're really looking at expanding youth programming for children prior to kindergarten. We have time and space and whatnot where we could offer a toddler tumbling class. We could offer a parent and me, dance class. We could offer different things. And so I've talked about this a lot. We really are limited in serving school age kids and seniors. And we don't really serve that population between 18 and 55. We don't have any programming for them right now. We tried a fitness program. It hasn't really worked out. We also don't serve children under the age of 5. And so those are the two areas we're really wanting to focus on, are the littles and the adults that are between 18 and 55. A lot of that's going to change when the Sports and Aquatic Center opens, right? Then we're going to be serving 6 months to 100 years old. But we want to start doing that even before that facility opens up. So those are just some ideas on what we're thinking about as we move forward. And then we just want to thank you guys. We know this commission it's been a challenge because we haven't had a full commission. We don't get quorum very often. But you guys continue to show up and do the work, and we really appreciate it. And the next topic, we're going to talk about how we're going to fill this commission. So any questions or comments about the presentation? Yes. They're definitely tied to projects. So the 30,000 is toward it's called the National Fitness Campaign, and they do outdoor fitness courts. And we're putting that at the Dunes Park. And so, yeah, that's earmarked for that. The 800,000 is earmarked to design improvements to the Fort Ord State Park area, because getting from the parking lot to the ocean is almost impossible. And it's unsafe. So we're working with quite a few contractors and subcontractors on how to design a safe and accessible pathway, a viewing platform, putting some restrooms out there. We're talking about extending the sidewalk from 8th Street Bridge to that parking lot, because right now there is no sidewalk. So once you cross the bridge, you're kind of in no man's land if you're on a bike or if you're walking. So that 800,000, believe it or not, is just to design it. And then we'll need to go back to the Coastal Conservancy and ask for money to build it. We have been told it's a slam dunk. It's going to happen. They have plenty of money, and this is a project they feel strongly about. At the last meeting, they basically said, we would not grant you 800,000 to design something unless we were fully prepared to then help you build it. So it's going to be a long process, but we'll eventually get there. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Andrea. Okay, so next up we have a presentation. Let's see, the commission is going to receive an update on commission application process.
Yeah, this is quick and easy. And I gave you a little handout. Basically just wanted to let you know that the recruitment period has closed. We are going to have 3 vacancies because both Sheila Baker and Sean Adams, their term is ending. And so we need to fill those 3 vacancies. We have 7 applicants. So that's really good news. All 7 are confirmed to interview on January 14th. And I believe that's with the mayor and you as our liaison. So that's going to happen on the 14th. The successful candidates, we will then go on February 4th to council for council to appoint them to these positions. And then we will swear them in at our next meeting on March 5th. So fingers crossed, we will have a full commission by March 5th and people will show up. So that's the quick update. I know it's been frustrating. And so I just wanted to let you know that we're working on it. And I think it's gonna move in the right direction. Absolutely. So would that be like they could step in any given meeting? or they step in if someone drops? Both. Do you know if other commissions have that? Is that common? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah, let's look into it and see. In this situation. Right. Right. I am hopeful that once we have 5, you know, it'll be, we'll have quorum a little more often. But yeah, let's look into that. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yes, I think that would be a good idea too.
Okay, good.
And I really love this breakdown of timeline because it's so hard when you're up here and you're just like waiting and not knowing. And it's just like,
Right.
you know,
I know.
You don't need me to tell you. Okay, so thank you again, Andrea.
Yes.
Are there any special announcements?
No.
Okay, moving on. Communications from the floor. No communications from the floor. Because we do not have a quorum, we will skip past the consent agenda. Do I have to do anything special about that or I just, okay, so we automatically just do that.
I think just stating that we will table the approval of minutes to the next meeting.
Okay, since we do not have a quorum, we will table the approval of the minutes to the next meeting. Other action items, we are going to get so with this, you're just going to give it to us and we can't make any decisions. Is that how that was going to work?
So for this one, I definitely want your input
Okay.
because this will then go to council on the 22nd. And so this is the public's opportunity and your opportunity to give input on what our dog park rules will be.
Okay, so we will move on to other action items and the commission will review and provide input to the dog park rules.
Yes, so I have provided the draft rules to you. I did quite a bit of research of what other cities, what their rules and regulations are. I also attended several dog park seminars when I was at National Parks and Recreation conference. And Lane and I have gone over these together. So you have it in front of you, but I'll go ahead and read it. And if you have any questions, just interrupt me and before we move on to the next one. So the off-leash dog area is for dogs, their handlers, and those accompanying them. No other use is allowed. So basically, we don't want people just hanging out there if they don't have a purpose. They need to be there with their dog. Children under the age of 13 must be accompanied by an adult. All dogs must be licensed, vaccinated, and wearing a collar with appropriate tags. No dogs under 4 months of age are allowed in the park. This is due to vaccination for parvo. Puppies that are not vaccinated are very susceptible and it can be deadly, and they can't get vaccinated until 4 months. Female dogs in season are not allowed in the park. Dogs must be on leash when entering and exiting the off-leash dog area. Gates must be securely closed before and after entering and exiting. Food for both dogs and their handlers is prohibited. This was a bit of a soft spot because some people are like, I want to go and have a picnic and sit and have my lunch and watch my dog play. And I understand that, but some dogs are very highly food motivated. And if they even see that you're opening a sandwich, they're going to be right there trying to get it out of your hand. If food drops, you could have dogs fighting over the food. So it's just best not to allow any food whatsoever. Handlers must remain in the fenced area of the dog park to always monitor and manage their dogs. Dogs are not allowed on benches and tables. I'm not sure how we're going to enforce that because as soon as the dog sees the picnic table, it's going to jump on top. But hopefully the handlers will say, oh, no, they'll do gentle parenting and they'll ask the dog to please get off the bench. Handlers must always have possession of the dog leash. Aggressive dogs are not allowed. The handler of any dog exhibiting aggressive or unruly behavior is required to immediately remove the dog from the dog park. Handlers must clean up after their dogs by immediately disposing of feces in the receptacle provided. Maximum of 2 dogs per handler. Dogs must be in the same location as the handler. For our current dog park at Hilltop, it's a small park and there's only one area. It's not divided for small and bigs. In the future, all of our dog parks will have an area for small dogs and big dogs. And so that's why that is in there. Talking about the quote unquote same location. Glass containers, smoking, vaping, chewing tobacco, and alcohol are strictly prohibited. Handlers are responsible for any injuries caused by the dogs under their control. Users of the facility do so at their own risk. The city of Marina shall not be liable for any injury or damage caused by any dog in the off-leash area. The city of Marina reserves the right to close the facility for maintenance and repair. Owners are legally responsible for their dogs and any damage and or injury caused by their dogs. So obviously a combination of legal liability coverage and then just, basic rules on how to manage your dog at a park. So I would like to hear your feedback. Yes. I've already displayed them once and someone has removed them because I just did a laminated temporary and they were already removed. So yes, it'll be a permanent sign.
How is it going to be handled if someone has an aggressive dog? I mean, is it like self-reporting kind of thing or?
So January 22nd, I'll be going to council to create an ordinance around these rules so that it is enforceable. So what would happen is if you observe that, you could call and report there's an aggressive dog here and they're refusing to leave, and then PD would actually come and enforce that.
So you would be calling the police department as opposed to calling somebody in the city?
We don't have an animal control division. Our police are basically our animal control. And so, I would hope that the adults in the dog park would work it out amongst themselves, but we know that that doesn't always happen. And as long as the ordinance is in place, then we can enforce the rules. If we just post these rules but no ordinance, there's really nothing the city can do. So that's why it's really important to make it part of our municipal code.
Okay, DJ.
It's pretty reasonable. The only one is the food. So when you have, a leash-free dog area, a lot of people like to bring the dogs to train them.
Mhm.
Right, so you need dogs and food motivated. If you're by yourself in the park and no other dogs, you kind of want to train them with food.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like where the only thing where I'm like question mark,
And I'm kind of there too, because I know that when we were training our lab to not be reactive to other dogs, to get her to do recall, we used food. So I don't know. I mean, I totally get what you're saying too. So just
How would you like me to respond?
well, I guess the question is do we feel like that's an acceptable regulation to do, or do we think that it's asking too much? Because I mean, do you own a dog?
I do food motivated.
Yeah, and so would you find it completely impossible to control your dog even if they didn't have food?
I probably, I just think it's, for the different uses of the dog park, because there is really not many places you can, other than your own backyard, to let the dog leash free and try, get them to do tricks and
Mhm.
you recall them. That's one of the most important.
Yep.
Lessons you teach dogs. Like when you call, they come and you give them a treat.
Mhm.
And so, and then I don't know if down the line, this park would be open to like dog training classes, which I would be interested in.
Mhm.
Having a puppy, teach them how to be a dog citizen.
Mhm.
There's really not that many, other than PetSmart in Sand City, there's not much in our area.
Right. Yeah.
So that's something to consider, that maybe we can do an exception, like for training purposes, dog treats allowed. I understand the food for people, like, hey, I don't have to eat out there. But for dogs, it would be also a safety reason. I see both sides of the coin, like, hey, if my dog runs towards another dog that's not as friendly, then I can call them back with a treat and
Mhm.
they will come back to me.
I would say that if that particular rule is approved, We absolutely could make exceptions if we're doing like a clinic and we close the park to the public and only people involved in the clinic are coming and the trainer is okay with you having treats. I have dogs, I've gone through training, and some people, some trainers really want you to use the treats as a motivator. Others say, no, they just need to listen to you, whether you have a treat or not. So yeah, I mean, with my dogs, I train them with treats, but once I'm out in public, that's not training anymore. That is kind of the real deal. And at least with my dogs, they don't know that you don't have a treat, right? They've been trained that when you say, CJ, come, at home, he is going to get a treat, but at the park, he doesn't know I don't have treats. And when I say CJ come, he comes running and I give him lots of love and attention. And sure, he's still looking at me like, where's my treat? But he still listens. So I don't know, do you guys have a recommendation? Like, are you saying you would recommend that be removed or reworded? Okay.
Because I'm okay with not food for people.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. But I guess my question is how much, because your presentation was that it was unsafe because if a dog knows you have these treats, they're going to come to you, even if they're not your dog.
No, my concern is that if you drop treats on the ground,
Oh,
multiple
they're
dogs
gonna
will
come
go
flying
to
at
get
you.
for it,
Right.
go to
and
get the
somebody could get
treat,
hurt.
and then those dogs might fight over that treat.
Mhm.
That's my concern with that. And again, I've had dogs my whole life, and I've had dogs that are very well trained, but they would fight over a kibble if it was dropped on the ground.
I guess my thought is a little bit different. Is I think we should go for the hard answer and say no treats, because we can always make it easier, but it won't be easy to make it harder. So kind of we're on the fence on this one.
Yeah, I feel like toys they fight over this too. So it's not necessarily treats. I'm not allowed to bring a ball to in there.
And I didn't put that in there, but many dog parks do not require toy or do not allow toys.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we tried to find a nice balance. There are some dog parks that don't even allow community water bowls because there could be,
Germs or something.
right. And so they require you to bring your own water bowl. So we haven't gone that far. I heard we're getting water there. It's in progress. Yeah. So, we didn't go as extreme as some cities have gone. We tried to find that happy medium.
You cool with sticking with it? Okay, we'll leave it as.
Okay.
Or we will recommend leaving it as is.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh,
Absolutely.
okay.
So the last thing we want, and fortunately, sometimes there's bad players and you don't want people like self-regulate each other. So instead of like calling the police, I think that code enforcement, since we don't have animal control,
Mhm.
might be a better purview.
Okay.
And just maybe talk to Meg about that, because I don't want, just people are.
So what,
Yeah.
when you say code enforcement, what would that entail?
Code enforcement, our code enforcement officer. So instead of calling and having a police come out
Mhm.
because your dog is eating a snack or whatever, and it says on the sign to call.
Oh,
the
got it,
number,
got it.
Yeah.
Or your dog is on the park bench.
Yeah.
And people are just jerks.
Yeah.
Like, just, they can call code enforcement.
That's a great recommendation. I like that.
Like,
Yeah.
unless there's an emergency.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like, if we don't have animal control, then.
Yeah.
let's not have the cops have to.
Yeah. I appreciate that recommendation. That's good.
Okay, cool. Okay, commission comments, reports and information. Do you have any? I don't have anything. Okay. Comments. Oh, we're at the end. So anybody want to say anything else before I close us? All right, So if there are no objections, we will adjourn the meeting. All right, hearing no objections, this meeting is now adjourned at 7:20 PM.
Thank you.